Hey, this is Stacy from Let's Cook Y'all. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new, welcome. We're really glad you're here. We hope you enjoy these weekly What's for Dinner videos. We post them every Sunday. We hope to share with you guys what we're cooking and give you some ideas for things to cook at your house. We'd love it if you'd hit that red subscribe button and stick around. We are back with a brand new week of What's for Dinner. We've got some old favorites, a couple of new things we've tried, and some bonus items for you at the end. Hope you enjoy all the food in this week's What's for Dinner, and you have a wonderful and truly blessed day. First up this week, I took some pork chops out of the freezer. I had the last of a little bottle of, I think it's McCormick Smokehouse Maple Seasoning. So I put some olive oil, salt, and pepper and that seasoning on the pork chops and stuck them in my air fryer. Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes. I keep attempting over and over and over again to learn to hold the camera with one hand and do something else with the other hand, stir or flip. It is so much harder than it looks. Tim is the grill master and everything he grills outside is really good, always perfect, but everything we do in the air fryer turns out equally as good. I fixed some quick sides and a big salad. Tim was not available to grill, so I put the pork chops in the air fryer just with some seasoning. I used the last of a Smokehouse Maple Barbecue I had, but I would totally use Trader Joe's 21 Seasoning Salute next time. Cooked them till the meat thermometer registered at least about 150 or 160 is where we like them. And just some simple sides. I steamed some broccoli, put some butter and seasoning on it, fixed a brown rice and quinoa packet for me. I added some turmeric. Fixed a little instant mashed potatoes for Tim. He likes them, and he likes them in the microwave. Go figure. And I built us a little salad on our plates. We will fix our plates and eat these pork chops and sides. That's what's for dinner tonight. This is a package of Kronos Korean-style barbecue beef strips or carvers. I had this in the freezer. I love keeping stuff like this on hand for nights when I don't really feel like cooking. This was one of those. I asked him what he'd like to do with it, and he picked the sandwich. So I got my skillet hot, added a little bit of olive oil, and then cooked this meat. It's very thin. It cooks very quick, probably in about 60 to 90 seconds per side. Before I started cooking the meat, I had preheated my air fryer. I took a big bag of waffle fries out of the freezer from Sam's Club and got those going. We cut back a little bit on the time. We'd been overcooking those a little. Then I took some thick sliced bread. I put 2 kinds of cheese, some sliced provolone, some shredded Monterey Jack, that cooked meat, and a couple other things on the inside. I put some butter and olive oil on the outside. Used the same skillet that I had cooked the beef in and built some wonderfully delicious Korean barbecue beef and cheese sandwiches. It's feeling like sandwich night in our house tonight, so I took the last package of the Kronos Korean beef sliders. Tim picked the sandwich this time, so I cooked the meat and then layered 2 kinds of cheese, mayonnaise, green onions, sesame, and toasted it up. Did some waffle fries in the air fryer. Tim fixed him some fry sauce that has
ketchup, mayonnaise, Tony's, and a little hot sauce.
Don't know if y'all heard him. Ketchup, mayonnaise, some Tony Chachere's, and hot sauce. Sandwiches is what's for dinner in our house tonight.
Big Mac ain't got nothing on it. Stacy does.
I hope. Bon appetit. Like any good grilled cheese, these are best served hot right out of the skillet. I doubt they would have worked as leftovers, but I have no idea. We both absolutely devoured these. They were delicious. I had some ripe avocados in the house, so I chopped them up, put a little lemon juice on them, then started building my creamy guacamole. We've got a video on this I'll leave a link to. I use sometimes red onion, sometimes onion powder, garlic powder, fresh garlic, some cumin. Start off with just a little teaspoon of both mayonnaise and sour cream. For spice, you can add some peppers, we just used cayenne and a dash of hot sauce. I added a little white pepper and some salt, kept mixing, tasting, seasoning it. I do take a fork and smush it up really well because I like it really creamy as opposed to chunky, but that's personal preference. It seemed like a good week for Taco Tuesday, so that's what we had. Tim's been asking for taco salad, so I browned the meat. I've got some pinto beans, made us a quick salad using what I had, some black olives, sliced avocado, red onion, cheese. Tim will put jalapenos on his. Woohoo! We'll add some sour cream and taco sauce and more chips. I made some creamy guacamole that we'll have with chips on the side. I'll show you a quick picture of our bowls. Taco salad is what's for dinner tonight.
I'm so excited.
Can you hide it?
Just can't hide it.
Are you about to lose control? And you think you like it?
I think I like it.
Taco salad. Awesome. It's time to try something new and also use some ingredients that I have on hand. I had a half a package of cream cheese that I softened. I added some of the Monterey Jack from the package, making the grilled beef and cheese. I added a bunch of seasonings, some chopped up mushroom stems, and also some thawed out and microwaved to heat them through pre-cooked sausage crumbles that I keep on hand for making pizzas. What I'm making is a filling for some mushrooms that I'm going to stuff. I did use a lot of Worcester and a lot of other seasonings, garlic powder, onion powder, and some of this Trader Joe's mushroom umami that I'm having trouble figuring out what to use it for. This isn't a recipe I followed exactly. It's just something I kind of winged together, and as I often do, I just kind of taste and adjust as I go. But I went ahead and took some baby Bella mushrooms and stuffed them, and rather than baking them in the oven, you know me, I put a piece of foil down in the bottom of the basket of my air fryer, poked some holes in it, sprayed it with a little cooking spray, and tried them in the air fryer. Looks like 8 minutes is pretty perfect. We made a return trip to Sam's, got a big 6-pack of romaine hearts, so we're gonna have a lot of salads. I also got a big pack of baby Bella mushrooms. I've tried stuffing them with a sausage cream cheese mixture and doing them in the air fryer. It's go big or go home, made of a giant salad for each of us. I do have a couple of things of meat to offer for Tim. He will have either his favorite Thousand Island or honey mustard on his. Probably some meat and mushrooms, and I've just got olive oil and white wine vinegar on mine. Giant salads, stuffed mushrooms is what's for dinner tonight. On a recent trip to Kroger, I wanted to get some little small red new potatoes, and they didn't have any. They had about 3 really large red potatoes that didn't look very good. So I got some little small yellow baby Yukon Golds. I forgot that they are a little bit softer than a regular russet or a red potato, but I cut them up and prepared them the same way with olive oil, salt, and pepper, and a little Trader Joe's seasoning for my air fryer. Start off at 16 at 360 and see how much longer it takes if I remember to write it down. For the entree, I needed a lot of really finely diced onions, so I took my good knife. We've received a lot of comments about my knife. This is my favorite kitchen tool. It was a birthday or Christmas present about 15 years ago from Tim. It's a Wusthof Santuco. I make the little horizontal slits and then vertical slits as narrow as I can make it, and then do a lot of chopping. I needed this really fine for the entree. I took out 1 package of organic ground beef and started making meatloaf patties. I took a piece of bread and put some butter on it and then tore it up, added a beaten egg. Then I added some milk, some grill seasoning, some allspice. This is a recipe that we've shared before. It's actually probably the only Rachel Ray recipe that I've ever made and repeated, but I'll leave a link to the video where we've shown this before. I used some tube squeeze tomato paste. You can use some for a can or even some ketchup. and then the finely diced onion, and mix it up really well. I found with this recipe, like meatloaf, your hands are the best tools. So I mixed it all and formed it into a lot of really small, manageable, portion-sized patties. For the two of us, I really prefer this recipe for several reasons. One, I can make really small patties, as I said. Two, I cook it on the stovetop and don't have to run the oven and heat up my kitchen. And three, you'll see at the end, my favorite part about this recipe is the gravy. But basically, you just brown the patties off, and so I use some olive oil and then take them out of the pan. In the same pan, we're going to add some butter and some olive oil and start building the gravy. To the oil and butter, I took some of the rest of that finely diced minced onion and added it to the pan, took my flat whisk and started scraping up all the bits. Then I started adding some flour. We're going to make a roux and make a gravy using just some beef broth that I made in the microwave with water and some better than bouillon beef paste. I let the gravy thicken a little bit, and then at the end I add the condiments, which are ketchup, A1 steak sauce, and some mustard. I usually use a spicy brown mustard or a whole grain mustard. It gives the gravy a lot of flavor. And I did cut back a little bit on the gravy because I knew I'd roasted the potatoes. If I had mashed potatoes, I would have doubled the gravy. Once the gravy thickened to the consistency I wanted, I added the patties back and all the pan juices and let them finish cooking, flipping them over a couple times so that they were well coated in the sauce or the gravy. We are having meat and potatoes tonight. This is something Tim will love. He grew up eating things like meatloaf, fried chicken, and roast a lot. His mom made, especially Sunday dinner after church. Sadly, meatloaf is not something I love, but I do love him, so I make it for him. These are really easy meatloaf patties with a condiment gravy. We've shown these on our channel before. I'll leave a link to that video. If we were having them over mashed potatoes, I would have made more gravy, added more of the broth and the condiments. I did have the Yukon Gold potatoes that I roasted in the air fryer, so we will just have those along with a big salad. I'll fix our plates, show you a quick picture. It is meat and potatoes in our house tonight. In the summertime, I love to make overnight oats. I make cold oats using fresh blueberries and usually what I have on hand. I did have some chia seeds today, which I don't always have. I use rolled oats, some bagged muesli, some different seasonings, flax, cinnamon. I also use plain or vanilla Greek yogurt and some almond milk and a little bit of local honey. This isn't a video that we have shown before. It was one of our first we ever posted on the channel, so if you do watch it, please be kind. I have a recipe for this that mostly has the measurements, but as with most of my cooking, I don't always measure. I just start adding and tasting as I go, and I've made this for so many years. I pretty much know how much of the ingredients to use and how thick I want it. If you want it thinner, add more milk. If you want it thicker, add less milk or more yogurt. I did want some more muesli because I like all the nuts and the little bits and things extra. This will soak overnight in the refrigerator, so when you think it looks loose and liquidy, it's not. The oats and the chia seeds and the flax will soak up all the liquid and it will be very thick the next morning. I finished up one container of almond milk and thankfully had a shelf-stable one in my cabinet, so I got that out and added a little more. At the very end, when I think it's the consistency I want, I gently fold in the blueberries and cover it and put it in my refrigerator overnight. The next morning, I take it out and I showed you what it looked like. It did soak up all of the liquid. You can eat it cold, and I love to actually put it in the microwave and heat it up because the berries end up bursting. I showed you this. This is what I have to do. Tim won't touch it, so I label it so he won't even have to look at it. But I did heat mine up, and then some of the blueberries burst. I added a few more and some almonds, and this was my breakfast all week. In case you've missed it in previous videos that we've shown, and I'll leave a link to the recipe that we use. I had some peaches in the house. This was my second time to make peach jam in the Instant Pot. You basically just dice up fresh fruit. I have made this with blueberries. I have made this with strawberries, and also now with the peaches. You add some sugar, put it on saute mode, and cook it a little bit until the sugar all dissolves. It gets liquidy and all the fruit is covered. And then you cook it in the Instant Pot on high pressure. Cook on manual high pressure for 1 minute, and then we'll NPR it for 10. Then you measure out 1/4 cup of the cooked fruit, add in some cornstarch, add it back until it thickens it up to the desired consistency, and then you store it in the refrigerator. This is not canned, but it lasts in the refrigerator about a couple of weeks. But I did have the Yukon Gold tomatoes that I roasted. I did have the Yukon Gold potatoes that I roasted in the air fryer. Thanks so much for stopping by this week and watching. Take care and have a wonderful and truly blessed day.